South Korea woke up to shocking news on December 3, 2024. President Yoon Suk-yeol declared martial law in a late-night televised address. This unprecedented move sent shockwaves across the nation. It was the first time since 1980. The declaration marked a dramatic escalation of political tensions. Citizens watched with bated breath, uncertain of their democracy's future. The suddenness amplified anxiety and uncertainty. It was a stark reminder of democracy's fragility. Profound questions arose about South Korea's future. President Yoon Suk-yeol justified his decision by citing a need to protect South Korea from what he called pro-North Korean anti-state forces. He accused these forces of undermining the constitutional order and hindering his agenda. Yoon claimed these groups were paralyzing the government and turning parliament into a haven for criminals. Yoon pointed to several specific grievances to support his claims. He criticized the opposition's impeachment motion against top prosecutors, which he saw as a blatant attempt to obstruct justice. He also condemned their rejection of the government's budget proposal, which included over 4 trillion won in cuts, as fiscally irresponsible. Furthermore, Yoon highlighted recent protests, calling for a special prosecutor investigation into allegations of fraud against the First Lady. He framed these protests as part of a coordinated effort to discredit his administration and sow discord among the population. While Yoon emphasized the necessity of martial law to safeguard the nation's democracy, he remained vague about the specific identities of these anti-state forces. His accusations, delivered with a stern demeanor, were met with skepticism and outrage by many. Critics viewed them as a thinly veiled attempt to silence dissent and consolidate his own power. The opposition parties vehemently denied any links to North Korea, calling Yoon's claims baseless and dangerous. The South Korean parliament wasted no time in responding to President Yoon's declaration of martial law. In a remarkable display of unity and resolve, lawmakers convened for an emergency session to address the crisis. The atmosphere inside the National Assembly was tense, with a palpable sense of urgency hanging in the air. With 190 out of 300 members present, the parliament voted decisively to lift the martial law declaration, deeming it invalid. Lawmakers from both the ruling and opposition parties condemned Yoon's actions as an assault on democracy. They argued that the declaration lacked any legal basis and represented a dangerous overreach of executive power. National Assembly Speaker Woo Won-shik played a pivotal role in rallying opposition to the declaration. He called for the immediate withdrawal of military and police forces from the parliament building, asserting the legislature's independence. Woo emphasized that the National Assembly, as the voice of the people, would not be intimidated or silenced. Opposition lawmakers, energized by the overwhelming support for their stance, vowed to remain in the Assembly's main hall as a symbol of their defiance. They pledged to continue their legislative duties and hold the government accountable, despite the extraordinary circumstances. Following President Yoon's declaration, the South Korean military swiftly asserted its presence. Soldiers and police fanned out across Seoul, taking up positions at key locations. The sudden appearance of armed personnel created an atmosphere of unease. Parliamentary activities were suspended, with soldiers blocking access to the National Assembly. Media organizations were under military control, facing censorship. The government justified these measures to maintain order. Striking doctors were ordered back to work within 48 hours. The government argued their absence threatened public health. However, many healthcare workers resisted, viewing it as suppression. The military's presence began to recede after the vote to lift martial law. TV footage showed soldiers leaving, suggesting a temporary de-escalation. However, the situation remained fluid and tense.